Hey folks, welcome back to Software Testing Hacks. In this video, let's talk about what is this Fluent weight and why it is used and how it is used. So before we begin, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Fluent weight is an advanced weight mechanism in Selenium that waits dynamically for an element to be available. Okay. For example, what happens? It is a type of explicit weight, okay, but it is quite complicated version, okay. It is not that easy because the syntax looks quite complicated. If you see, this is the syntax of the fluent weight, okay. So and also have mentioned something called polling at regular intervals. Okay, it's like the explicit weight, fluent weight also ignores exceptions like no such element exception during the wait time. So what we are trying to learn here is in fluent weight, it basically has three different conditions. You can see. First is the declaration part and then the implementation part. So that is what we learned in implicit weight as well. In the same way, even this is having the same thing. First is the declaration. In the declaration, we have three things here. So first is with timeout. So first we have this fluent weight, and then we have this with timeout. Okay, with timeout we have to specify the duration of seconds. How many seconds you want the driver to wait. Okay, so that is one thing. Polling every. So this is something which is quite new. So what happens is, so suppose say you have 30 seconds wait. Okay, what happens if the element is available in 10 seconds? Then the remaining wait is wasted, right? So rather than waiting for 30 seconds, the WebDriver will check every 5 minutes. For the first 5 minutes, 5 seconds, it will check whether the element is visible or not. If it is visible, it will proceed with the execution. And if it is not visible, it will wait for another 5 seconds and again it will check in the next fifth second, that is the 10th second. It checks whether the element is visible or not, or whatever the action you want to perform, whether you are that element is available for further action or not, so that it will check. So that is how the polling works, and it will wait until will does this polling until the 30th second. Okay, so every 5 seconds until the 30th second, which means that totally 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So totally times it will poll and check whether the element is available or not. If it is available, then it will proceed. If it is not available, it will wait. And it will not throw exceptions such as no such element exception dot class. So this is the default syntax. And in the exception, you can mention whatever. There are a lot of different exceptions, right? So you can uh, use those exceptions as well. So before throwing this no such element exception, it will wait for 30 seconds, and in between it will poll and then check whether the element is available or not. Continue the execution. So that is a major thing in Fluent Wait. So let's see the practical example. So what we will perform with Fluent Wait now is we will load this page and then click on the login once it is available. Okay. So here in the last video, we also had all this explicit wait things. So now we will do it with Fluent Wait. Let's comment that and then let's add Fluent Wait. This is the syntax, and it will ask to import the weight and then Fluent Wait everything. So you can just go ahead and then import them. Okay. This is declaration that is done. So now we have to implement. So for the implementation, what we can do is we can let's comment this statement as well. Okay, and then let's write. So web element. So this is the implementation part. So we have stored it in this web element named element. Okay, and then wait dot until. So this is the wait. Okay, we are applying this wait until. So this is the new function, and this is how you have to write it. And public web element apply in the web driver. We are passing the driver. So and then returning the particular element. Okay. So which is the login button. Okay. It is trying to wait until 30 seconds by polling every 5 seconds, and then it will verify or confirm whether this element is visible to perform the next action or not. So after this, we will perform element dot click. So let's save this and let's understand. Okay, we don't need this. Let's comment this. So let's understand. First, we declare the fluent wait here. Okay, and then in the implementation part, we are just waiting for the particular element. Okay, so that's it we are doing. So and then we are performing the action. So this is the complex, quite complex syntax that you can think. Fluent wait is quite complex. Let's run this. So you can see that it is trying to find the element, but it is not able to. So sometimes this fluent wait is quite complex and it might not work accurately as explicit wait and implicit wait. So what we have to do is say here. So here it is not able to find the element and it has thrown no such element exception if you see, correct? So what we can do is we will apply something called this is, let's copy this statement. Okay. Wait until the expected condition and we will wait until the visibility of the element which is located here and then perform the wait and then click. So that is why sometimes this kind of issue may come up in case of fluent wait. Then you have to debug and see why it is not working. Let's run this. So now you can see that it executed successfully. So it clicked on the element and then this got passed. So this is how you can, uh, you know, try using Fluent Wait, but it is not recommended to use Fluent Wait. It is always better to go with implicit wait or explicit wait. Okay, most of the times. So since this is a type of explicit wait, but it is quite complex than explicit wait, correct? So let's see some of the advantages and disadvantages of this Fluent Wait. So let's talk about some of the advantages. Efficient in element handling. It waits only the time that you need. Suppose the element is visible at the fifth second, it will go ahead and then continue the execution. It doesn't wait till 30 seconds is completed, right? So that is where it is quite efficient and regular polling. So that's what we spoke every 5 or 10 seconds, like based on the time that we have specified, it will go and then check whether the element is visible or not. So that is one good thing about Fluent Wait, and it handles the dynamic elements. Sometimes, it takes little time. Sometimes, say that an element is taking around 20-30 seconds. Okay, but you're not sure. Sometimes it happens at 20th second, sometimes it happens at 30th second. You don't know exactly what time you have to specify. In that case, you can always go and then handle it using the fluent wait, though it is not recommended. Sometimes, I mean, it prevents the test failure. It ignores no such element exception, and then it reduces the flaky test. So you almost know that sometimes when you work on an application, the failures will increase because of the flakiness. Okay, sometimes the visibility of element might not be there during the execution of the step, but later it might be visible. So to handle those such type of elements efficiently, it is always better to use fluent wait. But uh, just try to see if you can handle it using normal implicit wait or explicit wait. Though if it is not available in uh, implicit wait, at least you can put explicit wait and then check. So there are some of the disadvantages as well. We know that we saw that it is quite complex. It requires a lot of coding. So it is difficult for a beginner or someone who is struggling to learn, correct? And once you're used to it, at least you can feel that, yeah, it is quite easy. But still, from the code wise, has more number of lines, correct? So that is where it is quite complex. And then it is it uses a lot of your resources, okay, because it has continuous, like multiple times it will poll and then check. So that is where it increases the usage of the CPU memory, and then it affects the performance of the application and the script basically. So not always necessary in most of the cases. As I mentioned, explicit wait itself is more useful. So, risk of unnecessary polling. The polling is set too frequently. It can unnecessarily overload the web driver. It causes the slower test execution. So, which is also right thing. When you have, certain cases might be, it might need this type of wait. But apart from that, most of our application is having quite faster interaction as well. If you're facing such issues, you may report it to our developers that this element is not getting loaded within the specified amount of time. Usually, uh, it depends, right? From application to application, it may take 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So that you can try to get it fixed with your developers. That is one good option rather than using the Fluent Wait. So hope you understood what is the Fluent Wait, how do we write it, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of Fluent Wait. If you have liked this video, please do like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.